one, it does very much put her in a position where you have the choice to player support or the player duelist, or to hybrid the two, which is more common. Now, look at FNATIC right off the bat. They're on the attacking side, and they're already in hookah. Rushed on in with the usage of a fault line, and that's given them the opening. What's Muri doing here? He's just ran in at them. They're going to crunch right into hookah, and it hasn't worked out with Zeke and Muri both falling. It's now a two-man disadvantage for Wave on the retake.
Spike planted.
Yeah, both players coming in from hookah, and I think they're just trying to sneak their way through. It's a trade, but that's enough for Doma. A third kill already for him in this round. The Owl drone, as pricey as it may be, is going to give them every single piece of information that they need. And realistically, I was going to say Carcass has no chance, but he now should have a decent idea, at least where one of these players, he isolates the battle with Durka, but the classic this time is enough.
1-0 for FNATIC. They've picked up the pistol and gotten their foot in the door here on Bind. 3K from Doma, a very different start to the half than what we saw over on Breeze, where he had one of the worst performances that I've seen from him. So the fact that he's already answering up in the pistol fills me with a little bit of faith, Tom.
Yeah, it's definitely a good sign. Again, he just seems to be the man on this team that can play any role. I am a huge fan of him as a player. The fact that he's gone from being the out-and-out star of this team, playing on Raze and just dominating in most cases. Not by any stretch being moved off of that role because of his performances, but moved off of it to make space for someone like Durka, who's also going to be this aggressor in a lot of cases. But now he's almost proven that, okay, he can't just play Sage or Omen on maps like Ascent. He's now even bringing in Brimstone as well. So definitely been like a backbone for this squad. I also have to say I'm quite excited to see Breach coming back into the meta, because he's an agent I enjoy watching. I think the setup for teams, I think Nico's another one that has proven how valuable he can be, especially in retakes. I'm interested to see who's going to come out on top, because obviously the man on the other side is Magnum, who on a lot of maps is more so known for his lurking.
I do look at these compositions as well, though, and think, you have essentially Carcass and Durka, two players that you definitely want to deal with on the server. Now, Durka not playing the jet operator on this map, it's a little bit different, but you have that heavy smoke presence to limit the angles that Carcass can really play on versus the flashes to really gain the entry from Wave. Two very different interpretations. And look at this in the second round already. Wave have managed to find themselves a one kill, but it very quickly fell apart. A bombardment of utility towards them, as well as pretty much every player in FNATIC ready to take the fight on long, leaves them with just one kill in their back pocket after a full eco. It's not the end of the world, but they certainly wanted more than that.
Yeah, I think also they're maybe a little bit unlucky in this case, that the way that FNATIC countered them was just to group up, which in a lot of cases is a great way to play the round. But say, for example, they'd push aggressively through bathrooms, they would have come up across basically no one and maybe got an individual duel along the way, which then turns it into a gun, etc., etc. So the counter there from FNATIC was actually pretty strong as well.
Those flashes are so strong, man. Completely blinded up in the corner. Zeke does get traded out, though, as he continues forward, and FNATIC end up with at least something to show for it. In fact, I think even an upgraded weapon off of that. Oh, Mystic, though, caught by the double push down middle. That's the spike in the open, Tom. That's a problem.
Yeah, a round as well, where again, we talk about this as maybe 2-3 kills for FNATIC is going to end up being pretty good. I think Doma realizes that there is going to be players zoomed in on this spike, so may just wait to see if Boaster can throw out a little bit of extra utility, if there is any available. Of course, we can't see... Oh no, we can see the stars. I didn't even notice that was added. Maybe I'm just a little bit blind, but it is still going to be the trades anyway. Leaving Durka, last man standing, still a Vandal in hand, and the spike as well.
Well, at this stage... Tough clutch, but no better man for the job. Jumping out, he's going to be spotted, but not taken down. That was a close one. Looking for the spams, a brave attempt. The plant comes in. The 1v2 commences. He has a drone to play with, but no safe haven to really pop that drone out. You don't want to do it. They could be on long. They could be coming through the other side of elbow. And so he will retreat all back, all the way through to long. Now, with the wall that's coming up here from Wave, this almost provides him that opportunity to drone through. If he can manage to tag one of them up, knowing that the other is potentially on the spike when they do go in for it, that Clock could definitely be an ally of his, but the wall is going to be... Oh, now it goes up. Oh, what a shot by Durka. The drone out will provide the tag, and now it's trouble because the wall bangs can come in. He's out of ammo, just going to pop the recon, buy that little bit of extra time, and try to catch him. Oh, look, shock darts as well on the way. It's nasty, but Durka won't get it done. The time is so low, though. Muri only gets it halfway before the clutch comes in. 3-0 FNATIC have won that one out, and big props to Durka for making that one work.
This seems to be just a thing in every single map that we've seen from Wave, is they just can't get off to a good start. Like, again, like we talk about even going on Breeze, which they won. They lost a 5 versus 3 because of a wraparound. This time, what was that, a 1 versus 3? That they just lose to Durka, isolating different jewels, because he killed the player before this when he got the spike back as well. So I don't know what it is about these early round mistakes, but they're really making this like an uphill battle for themselves every single time. And unlike with Breeze, this is a map that for a long time FNATIC have been considered one of the best, if not maybe even the best in the world.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Sentinels maybe kind of stealing that one away slightly.
They're just the best at everything, though.
Yeah,
I don't know if that counts.
Hey, it was an OT. It was 16-14, so let's give him a little bit of credit. Zeke, here with the sheriff in hand. He's going to look for a player, look for a victim, but find nothing but bullets coming his way. He's out of here, and so the plan's going to come through. But Wave still have a couple of players who can come through and deal some damage. And that is ultimately the goal of this round, isn't it? Look at that, Muri on the spray. Oh, if he had a Vandal or a Phantom there, even a Spectre, that could have been a disaster for FNATIC. They've managed to evade Death's clutches for now.
Yeah, they wanted to kill Zig so badly that they've gone pussing and they've actually given up other map control. Carcass has managed to sneak his way through. Bladestorm pop, they need to kill him off, and that's exactly what Boaster will do. But they've still not cleared out this other player from behind. The wraparound comes in. No! Oh, he gets there in the end, but it's a little bit too late. By that point, no ammo remaining, and it will be FNATIC to convert it. Definitely not as clean and crisp as we normally see from FNATIC. But hey, 4-0 up, finance is still fine, but now there needs to be a response, and I wonder if maybe that operator from Carcass could be the difference maker again.
Yeah, don't worry, Zeke. No one saw that. No one was watching. It's all good. You hate it really when it's the as soon as the first bullet misses, the panic sets in. You're tapping away, hoping it lands. But at least we said the point of that round was damage. They succeeded. They got a lot of damage done. They've made the FNATIC economy a little bit more modest. And now it's time to get that little bit extra. 4-0 on the board. And Wave have the operator out. Carcass has been pushing down long slowly this entire round, but it seems like they're aware of it. And maybe they spotted him when we went off screen for a second. As now he's just posted up and waiting for someone to peek into him, but it's unlikely. FNATIC, decide to give him that fight. In fact, he goes all the way forward and nearly loses his life. In fact, I think the wall absorbed some of those bullets and made it so he's on 26 HP.
Oh, okay.
It's an early pop.
That actually... Yeah, he's actually going to pop it. He did tag a player, but I thought once he got the tag, he might actually go for it. Of course, then it almost fades off. We're going to see the Orbiter strike. This is just an ultimate round being thrown in. FNATIC putting everything to make sure they get into the site, and, well, it has worked pretty damn well.
That it has. The plant is already coming in, and the orb just about stolen away. Carcass wasn't able to get it. I thought he did, but never mind. That's a shame. And they're just saving their weapons here, which is understandable. When you're in this 2 versus 4, you're not really going to get away with a whole lot, are you? I have to say, Tom, when you look at the scoreline of 5-0, it's not like Wave haven't made this comeback happen before, but they're being rolled on at the moment. Like, it feels way more dominant than the start of Breeze did.
Yeah, I do start to worry that this is almost just going to be like a battering sandwich. Like they've got the one nice map in the middle, the stuff that they enjoy, and then they've just got two like horrible moldy pieces of bread that are going to be on the outside of it, where they just get destroyed in both. Because right now, FNATIC looking comfortable once again. Their executions into the site have been very clean. They've had maybe a few slip-ups here and there versus pistols, but in the buy rounds, not quite so much. They even win the bonus round thanks to Durka just pulling out miracle rounds that never really should be happening. And these are things that they're more reminiscent of that first map where, sure, maybe they get the opener here and there, maybe they'd have a few aggressive pieces that would be working, but ultimately it just ends with them getting shut down. Now, to be a bit more like Breeze, I feel like there needs to be that response, that huge victory. Like we saw them win that pistol round where it was like a double classic kill at the beginning coming out from Nico, or just some more. I feel like it has to be some aggressive plays, because I'd still feel it's the same with FNATIC. Like once that spike goes down, I just don't have much belief, not in Wave, in most teams, to pull those retakes off.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the tougher things, and I think when you play against FNATIC and all the utility that they have, it's almost impossible a lot of the time. And I do think that when KO comes in, that's where we're going to see a very big change to that. Like post-plan setups are going to be very, very difficult to make happen consistently with that agent. But again, it's a little while until him. I'm so excited. I'm excited. Do you know what I'm most excited for though? Is to see what a team like FNATIC does with him. Like that's it, because I have my ideas of what that agent can do, but when you see some of these guys, and they're able to surprise us pretty much every single time.
I think I'm more scared of Angel.
Yeah.
Like, I think Angel on a KO, he just goes, no abilities for you, and just runs through and headshots everyone. Carcass aggression, though. It pays off initially, but now the battle for bathrooms has only gone FNATIC's way. Carcass, though, repositions again. He's just nailing everyone with the operator. 3 kills off the back of the sniper. And this time, they're a little bit more prepared for Durka. No more miracle clutches, as Wave will take their first round.
Well, Tom, I've got some great news as well. I've managed to rig up a setup here, so I can actually hear the game now, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy getting to hear steps and gunshots and all the fun stuff that goes with it.
Just to put this into perspective, by the way, none of the fault of any of Mitch's issues has been down to the production.
Oh, yeah.
It is solely down to you.
I don't know what it is. My PC has decided today that
everyone else's is fine.
It doesn't want to live. I don't know what's happening, but it is what it is. Gonna have to have a little rebuild of it in a little bit, but for now, we're gonna take a look, and the glorious op shot rings out. Music to my ears. 5-1 in the scoreline. FNATIC looking very good, and with Mystic tagged up at the very beginning of this round, no one's able to pop him a heal, so he's gonna have to deal with that, unfortunately, for the rest of this round. And it's a shame, because this pretty much discounts. Like, it might seem like a trivial point, but he can't use his Viper's Pit. Like on 35 HP, that is a waste of an ultimate. One bullet through the smoke, and you are gone.
Take flight.
Wouldn't be ideal. Both teams actually going for information plays at almost identical times. The site completely smoked, but it's this man again. Carcass's operator being a huge difference within this series. Aggressive plays. Now, site has been caught there a multitude of times. Like, that aggressive peak just hasn't been working out for him again. We're going to see the orbital strike to actually try and deny the rotations, but Nico's doing a good job of holding on to long. Guess who it is? It's Carcass once more. He's found himself 3 already for the second time. They've won 1 round so far. This might be the second. And all of it just seems to be coming off the back of this operator. Doma even going to get tagged up by the aftershock, leaving him on 30 HP.
And they've spotted him coming back as well. Zeke's finger is on the trigger, ready to just pop off, but no. Doma catches the headshot. There's no time.
Does he have time?
No way he gets there in time. This is the end of the round, and a second on the board for Wave.
Yeah, would have needed actually a few more seconds to be able to get that. Now he will earn a little bit extra from the plant, so it's not the end of the world. It is an ultimate orb. You might be thinking, oh, well, what's the point? But it's a little bit extra at least. Look at that scoreboard right now for Wave.
That's ridiculous. It's actually insane. Carcass is such a good player. And you know, you've been ranting and raving about this guy since the start of Valorant. All I hear whenever I see Wave is playing, oh, I know Carcass. I was speaking to Carcass. You gotta...
Hey, I casted his first, I think his first CSGO LAN victory. I'm allowed
here he
to
goes
do that.
again. Yeah. Go on. Tom is basically that Twitch chat spam, you know, like whatever Carcass's first name is.
I'm like the hipster. I'm the hipster of Carcass plays.
I knew him way before he was good.
I knew him before he was cool, like, you know, but nowadays, like, now he's popular.
Oh, look at that 3K from
Robertas.
Robertas. Yeah, I said Robertas. That's Carcass's real name. I know him.
Well, I call him Rob.
Robbie boy in with a 3K. Look at him go. No, but in all fairness, though, Carcass, he's come a long way, man. And, you know, I always knew that he was a decent player, but your Ranton and Raven got me really paying attention to him, and you see what he can do. But Nico, he's going to be the star of this round, because that's the spike dropped right at his feet. This could be a big play if he can manage to find that second kill on Long. And with Zeke on the backside, he is just tearing this team apart. Eventually taken down, but it doesn't matter. If Nico falls, Zeke's there to pick them back up and put 3 on the board for Wave. It's a nice little comeback for them, and the scoreboard starts to look a little bit less ridiculous, although still pretty top heavy with 393. 393 ACS.
So Magnum has 4 kills. I'm fairly sure he got 2 of those with aftershocks.
Oh god.
It's not something I ever would have expected to say. But it does less damage on the individual hit now that there's 3, but it does seem like people are actually managing to do more with it, which is a little bit odd. Now, again, it's looking like there's some aggression here, but is this bait? It is. That's wonderful. They put him in aggressively.
Oh, no.
Carcass, he's not going to get out of there. He's caught the edge. Oh, we've ranted and raved about him, and we've cursed him as usual. Magnum is going to end up finishing off the second as Zik goes down. And while it's looking like another afterplant, unless Cider can pull off a miracle play.
Yeah, this would be, I think, his first kill on the board if he can get it done, and there it is. Let's see what else he's got up his sleeve now. Something to work with, but here's the Viper's Pit. Mystic couldn't use it earlier on, but now it's active and Yuri's down. Numbers starting to dwindle over on the Wave side, and control into this side is pretty much non-existent. Wouldn't be surprised to see a save being called, but it looks like they still want to send it and try to make this one happen. Cider sneaks into the Viper's Pit. There's the kill. Mystic now has no Viper's Pit. It falls down, opening the side up completely. But the post-plan setup is strong. They're going to be able to play from back. I think they have a molly on the way. Indeed, it's just landed, pushing Cider off it. They try to force the duels instead. But now, all of Wave are dead. It will be another on the board for FNATIC 6, as they guarantee themselves at least an even half, but knowing how they like to play here on Bind, how comfortable they are, how good they are, you can't help but feel like that number is going to increase by the end of the half.
It's actually really interesting, though, that we are now seeing Doma a couple of times using that orbital strike just to clear those aggressive angles because of how annoying those plays have actually been. Because the norm, at least from what I've seen, is you just go, oh, lamps is really hard to escape. Let's just stick it on lamps. That position is clear, and then we go pushing into the site. This is aggressive from Wave, though. They've just used the ult straight down mid, and they're actually peeking and holding into that aggressive angle. But eventually, I was going to say they decided to give it up, but it seems like Zik has not.
Oh, yeah. No, he's fighting for it. But Durka down. We're in a spot for FNATIC. Low HP on Boaster. Durka out of the round. You know, you're again thinking about how to deal with Carcass. Well, they've done that. They've done that. Doman just pre-fires him as he comes around the corner, popping a quick headshot to even up the numbers. Now, FNATIC, they had focused, or wanted to focus, on this B site. But it looks like there's going to be a change of plans and change of direction. Instead, taking that TP over and shifting their way through a middle. I do wonder, though, it doesn't look like they're full committed to A just yet, as they sneak on through, being very, very conscious of one of the Wave players having pushed up in the early round, but Wave have no read. They don't know that there was a full B control. They don't know anything that was going on, so they're left in a 2v2 waiting to play reactionary again.
So going to see Magnum take a little bit of a tag. Cider now realizing that they're coming through. Now, Boast has done well to catch off these players through the bathrooms, and he will do so once again. The plant already coming through, and Magnum with the sneaky play through is already going to pick off another. A good execute from FNATIC, piecing things together. And Zik, last man standing. 1 versus 4. I think this Nebula might actually be the death of him. He's hoping to try and find something. The Trace is coming through, and Doma, he's been so good over the last few rounds. High impact frags, orbital strikes on point, and he's almost earned another one, Mitch.
Not too shabby. And considering the impact that orbital strike has had, I think it's, and on Bind in particular, always going to be a good thing to have in your back pocket. I do find it interesting that they are using it for those aggressive positions, as you were saying earlier, instead of what typically would be, you know, inside of lamps or in these positions where you can't physically escape it. We've seen combinations of Molotovs, of snake bites to keep people locked in, and then orbital strike to either kill them or zone them into the other utility, and disadvantageous duels. It's a bit of a different approach this time around. And FNATIC at 7-3, they're looking at a pretty fast A hit, which is the correct read on this one. There's a lot of the presence from Wave. It was on B. Now it's up behind them, actually, because look at this. Nico's already basically a few meters away from joining the squad, but he's gone.
Yeah, I think they realized with all the utility that was used there to delay that the likelihood is there was some sort of push. Okay. Murray's at least been able to find one. I don't know if it's going to make a difference in the round victory. Doma again, we know that he's only 1 away from utility that would pretty much end this round in his tracks, and they don't even need it. 8-3, the short resurgence of Wave has quickly dwindled as we're, well, not quite as bad as what we saw previously when we were on Icebox, but it is still looking like basically a one-man team.
Yeah, exactly. Not to the same exaggerated extent as Icebox, but if you look at the context of the rounds that they've won, Tom, as you said earlier, you know, 2 of them were on Carcass, basically, and they've won 3. So that's not really great.
It's not a good stat, is it? It really isn't.
It's not inspiring.
It doesn't fill you with confidence, especially as, well, like his operator's not going to have as much on the attack. The timing from Mystic could not be better, and I feel like this is what FNATIC have adapted. Okay, you want to get aggressive. We're just going to wait patiently. We're going to watch for you to make these pushes. We'll throw in a few fast rounds as well that you can't get complacent. And again, this is why we give Boaster's calling so much credit. Like, he just seems to have the right gauge on what the opponents are doing in the majority of the round. Now they're even going to switch things up. And, well, Zeke, he goes, oh, you've got an orbital strike. I'll try throwing one back to at least give us a chance. But realistically, they're taking so much damage in these circumstances that even though the 4 defense has rotated, they're now going to get ulted again.
Cider and Muri both 1 away from their ultimates. They are so close to having game changers in their hands, and it's going to be the flash out that makes the attempt to follow through, and Cider, he has absolutely destroyed them right through the TP, sneaking behind enemy lines and putting 8-4 on the board. Wave, they needed that. That is a lifeline and a chance if they win the pistol to get back into this.
He's one of the boys. He's one of the boys. He's gone with him. No one expecting that many people. That was unbelievable. This is a man who a few rounds ago we were talking about having no kills.
Yeah.
He's now second on his team with 1 round.
That's just had a real elevator vibe. You know, hold the door. Gets in there and destroys them. My God. And the flash helped because the player, when they went through, I can't remember exactly who it was, but the player who was looking back was blind. Because obviously they were looking back just before they went through the TP. So Murray completely blinded that guy, who would have probably killed Cider, allowing Cider to get a double, and then a triple afterwards, putting him on 4 for the round. That was glorious. And if they win this pistol, they're back in it, Tom. But Wave, they're already off to a bit of a rocky start with Daddy Doma taking down 1, but they've answered back. They've got the site, and they've got the plant. Man advantage for Wave.
And there's no flank either. They're all coming in from similar directions. The aftershock might help them a little bit with clearing some of these angles. Boaster, though, not winning the duel. Carcass again going strong with the pistol, and Or Durka, he is going to help, get some help, I should say. The aftershock clearing the angle at least. Magnum down to 5 HP. It leaves Durka to do the heavy lifting, but that's what he does best. Set him up, put him in position, and watch him roll through these rounds. This time, though, Carcass is there to shut him out. It's going to be left all on to Magnum, and as said, he was far too low.
A round that was much needed here, Tom. Putting 5 on the board for Wave. I feel like this is the start of something. The start of the comeback, perhaps. And FNATIC, I'd be interested to see. I presume they'll take an eco here. I guess so. Look at that money. It's terrible. Most teams will take an eco when they lose the second. But sometimes if you just feel like you're the better team, just go for it. You throw yourself head first at them. But in this situation, I think it's the wise choice to just play with those classics.
They've got enough of an advantage anyway that unless they're going to lose to the bonus, it might not matter. Again, we're seeing both teams very aggressive. Now, in these sort of rounds, there's little to no risk. And actually, Magnum is already going to be able to pick off one. The thing is, though, they do check for Boaster. And that was the important kill. If he gets one here, you feel like it might all be over. Now, I feel like the teleporter push from Durka is almost just to distract. Like, okay, yep, keep focusing on me. I've made a nice amount of noise. Now my teammates are going to push in from long. It means that they get a couple of kills, which in these sort of rounds, that's what you're hoping for. It's not a miracle play. It's not a victory, but you're going to force a few rebuys, or Wave are going to have to play this one with pistols, at least on the players that died.
Just a couple of unchecked angles, really. Boaster, I felt the play. I really did. He was in that corner. They saw his foot, or they saw him as he went through. Either that or it was the spidey senses, but whatever it was, they avoided a calamity. At 8-6, this is FNATIC's full buy up against Waves. Well, I mean, we don't really call it a bonus at this stage, do we? They've got enough rifles in it that it's close enough to a full buy for themselves. That shock dart's nice. Oh, a little bit too shallow.
It is looking like they're almost all in on the A site. We're going to see the Molotov alongside a snakebite to try and clear the back. The problem is they haven't dealt with Durka. He's going through. He's just pushing all the way in. Man is mad. But you know what? His teammates have cleaned things up anyway. It might have been what looked like a bit of a distraction play, as now FNATIC, they won the round that was expected of them. But the question is, how much are Wave going to invest into this one? They should, in theory, have a pretty solid buy.
Nine to 6. As you said, a solid buy, and it is. You know, it's almost like instead of having a bonus round with weaker weapons and then a super strong buy, they've got two medium buys. They've got rifles, they've got a lot of utility because they didn't need to use it in the previous, and then like a Spectre, a Guardian, and the Guardian doesn't get the reward it needed. At least the trade is there, and Breach is down right off the bat. Magnum's flashes have been something to be feared. And so it's nice to see that they're not going to be in this round, at least for Wave it is. They'll be quite happy.
Toxins going up.
It's not the worst trade in the world either. Mostly considering the weaponry and the utility that you lose off of Jet. It doesn't make that much of a difference to the executes. It's more just his ability to entry that is probably going to be the heavier of the losses. Now for FNATIC, there's someone just split 2 for 2. They don't necessarily have a clue as to where these remaining players are going. Of course, with stars down on the deck, they can easily slow any of the pushes. A gravity well to pull them back if they do go pushing, but that takes information. And as of right now, they don't have much of it.
The snake bite, that might actually buy them quite a lot of room because some of these guys can't actually run through, but Cider has still made it onto the site with the Rolling Thunder. Looks like he's just going to cut off any possibility of re-aggression in through lamps, but Mystic has gone elsewhere. Wise to Muri's tricks. Boaster takes down Zeke, and with this, FNATIC are ahead. The TP will come through. Luckily, nobody's sneaking in with them, but Cider has managed to get behind enemy lines in another way. His steps, though, giving away the fact that he's still here. He will he won't TP because he actually gets caught on the way through, leaving Nico all alone with a Guardian in hand and not much hope. Double digits now reached for FNATIC and Wave. are looking a little bit shaky here on the attack. The one good thing that we can look to is that ult economy is about to come online for them, although the same can be said for FNATIC.
Yeah, I think this next round has to be a play for an orb. Like, get Carcass that Blade Storm, have something to play behind in this round. He's definitely had his moments, although, as said, like, I don't think you can expect the same level from him in this second half, because he's not just going to be taking these aggressive peaks with that operator, which was what was doing so much. I also have to again give credit to Doma there, because we sort of see in that post plant, or it wasn't even a post plant, as they try and get the spike down, he has a Molotov that bounces over the top, slows everything down, and that then gives Boast the time to get into position and takes down the second player. All of it was about wasting as much time as they could, and that's exactly what they did.
Oh my, what has just happened? I've just gotten destroyed. Little spray down. Doma sprays one guy, gets 2 kills. Hey, he's happy enough about that one. You'll take it when they're coming your way, especially in such a close range angle. And you talked about, oh yeah, just go in and fight for that orb, maybe inside a bath. Well, they fought. They did fight, but it didn't go according to plan. They've only ended up with 1 kill out of this. FNATIC's economy just gets bolstered even further, meaning it's going to be rifles for a long time. Wave are going to have to be pretty flawless on this attack if they want to get away back in. And remember, this is FNATIC's map. This is the map that we've long known FNATIC to be the kings of. They lost it to Sentinels in overtime. They lost it to G2 in a tight game. A G2 that looks better than ever before. And with the exception of those two, they dominate.
What is this? Is this how they got him up there last time?
Attempted boost. Here we go.
It actually works. Okay. You know what? Fair play. It definitely seems like maybe Brimstone is a little bit heavy for that. Like, I feel like Mystic is going to have a few back problems, but hey, it got him up there in the end. That's all that counts.
Time to hunt.
Deep shock dart again, not going to connect, so that wolf continues forward and finds, well, not really a lot of information. Magnum ready to answer back with an aftershock and peek right after his disappears. That's so good. That is so good. The reaction, the confidence that his teammate had him covered. Now they're even contemplating the rolling thunder, and it looks like inside of Hookah is where that one's going to go down, leaving Cider none the wiser, not able to do anything. An aftershock in play pushes Nico completely out as the rest of his team falls to smithereens. That is a clean round from FNATIC. Every single attempt by Wave had the perfect response. Even, I don't know if you noticed, but when that aftershock went down, there was also a gravity well. Like, they had everything planned for. Wave just ran into a bundle of utility and barely even got to take an aim duel.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I think as well, like, we're seeing pretty much every single member of FNATIC have a pretty damn strong game. Boaster as well has been performing, having so many like backstabs and sneaky positions on site, teaming well, as you mentioned, with all the other players. I like, there's definite reasoning behind wanting to bring in this Astra. As it was said in the interview with Mini, like, if every team's trying to counter the current comp that they're running, the comp that's worked for so long, you almost are forced to change it. Otherwise, eventually someone's going to crack the code. Now, just because it didn't work versus G2 in a series where Mixwell drops over 30 kills and plays one of the best series we've ever seen him play, does it mean the comp is trash? Absolutely not. So they've run it again. They've had faith in their practices, their scrims, and it looks damn good. And although there were moments where Wave were able to compete with a few cheeky plays of their own, some individual brilliance throughout this map, FNATIC have been the better team.
Most definitely. Yeah, I don't think anybody can argue the contrary. And when you look at where Wave are at right now, it's a sad sight, really, because we know that this team is very, very capable. And as I said, it feels like every single time that they come into VCT, they end up against FNATIC. They end up against another top-tier team. And they managed to beat them the last time. That's the worst part. And Mystic taken down off the bat. This could be the comeback. 6 rounds in a row. They need to double their score. And they can't lose one in the meantime. But the opening duel, it bodes well. They have an orbital strike. They have a Viper's Pit. Definitely a dangerous round.
Arcus has at least found an opener, but you can't expect FNATIC just to sit still. They're already looking for plays, making aggressive pushes to try and garner information. Interestingly, you've got Zik sat all the way at the back towards spawn. The timing could actually go against him, but he spotted Boaster at least. And I wonder if they're going to try and make a play off the back of this. Spotting him so far down, you would almost make the read, normally at least, that there's only going to be one player there. For them instead, they're actually going to continue this push into A.
Going straight on in. Magnum caught right away. The flash a little bit late. The orbital strike clears out lamps. This is a lot of information to play with for Wave. Are they aware of the flank that's coming in? Well, it's going to take a while longer, so I guess they're going to be looking back by then, and indeed they are. 2 players remaining for FNATIC, and this is looking like, at least for now, the round is going to go their way. Nico very close to getting himself the Rolling Thunder. Might want to go out for a couple of fights. And that defuse was brave, but it's not going to happen. In fact, Nico even getting the kill to close it out, meaning Rolling Thunder is online at the very beginning of the next round.
Yeah, no, flawless victory for Wave. The only thing is, it still feels like eventually FNATIC are going to get this over the line. And I think the main thing I want to talk about with Wave is they just need to get off to some better starts. Like, think about in both the last 2 maps at least, just slip-ups near the beginning that end up seemingly putting them far enough behind that FNATIC just have this buffer to play with. So, yeah, a little bit worried about the way things have gone, but there are definite positives here for Wave. Now, they are going to be having a strong purchase into this round, but bear in mind, Doma's got his orbital strike again.
It always seems to be online, at least in this map. Constant fight for ult orbs has always been a feature of the FNATIC gameplay. Of course, he's dominating in a lot of duels, and there we go. Another trade comes back. But that's Mystic gone, and a huge loss. That one-way smoke that you have constantly at the start of the round on mid no longer exists. That's out of the game, and so at this point, they have to rotate in. Well, indeed. They have to rotate in an extra player, in fact, 2 towards that A side, leaving Durka to play hyper-aggressive on B. Now, he doesn't mind so much if they go through hookah, because he'll have a very early flank that shouldn't be read on. Although it does look like Wave, again, running right into that stack.
It seems like their executions on the comfortable pick for them. The worry again, though, orbital strike ready. They do have the Rolling Thunder themselves. Now, the last couple of times we've seen them pop this almost straight into the Lamps position. This time, though, they've cleared out Heaven. They found Doma early, so never mind. That ultimate isn't going to play a part, but they haven't cleared the Lamps. Never mind. Zik comes through as the last man to find that player and leaves it onto this clutch master again. The first man falls in the 1 versus 2. The second likely to go as well. Durka looking to end it all, but Zik will hold on. Wave will go a little bit longer.
By a hair's width, they just about make it. 12-8. I mean, for a 1v3, yes, 2 of those players were 1 hit. They were super, super low, so it's not as clear-cut as it could have been otherwise, but still, that was a bit scary. A lot of 1v1 fights offered up and cashed in on. And FNATIC, as we mentioned, they have got a pretty damn good economy. They're up buying yet again. It just doesn't seem to get easier for Wave. And indeed, if FNATIC lose this one, Tom, they'll be buying again. There's just no end to it. And the lack of an operator, for the most part, will help out significantly in that fight. Doma taken down, and that means this ult orb is free from Yuri, and with the kill and the orb, he has Seekers online. They are just about edging this ult economy in their favor every single time.
This is going to give away so much information, but they actually deny with the spray through, and of course the combination of the snake bite. We know the vulnerability makes this Phantom as deadly as any gun you can find. Already putting them into a 4 versus 4, but the push isn't stopping. They are still going into A.
Welcome to my world.
Oh, the Viper's Pit activated. Boaster almost had a swing on sight, but has to fall back. Hunter's Fury ends up connecting, and Cider falls. It's all down to Zeke. He has the spike, and he's running to B, a 1v4, and Durka's already here, creeping his way into Elbow. Oh, man, because you know Zeke's going to peek spawn, but does he check this? Does he ever check Elbow?
What?
Of course he doesn't. Putting 13 on the board for FNATIC and securing them the next round of the lower bracket. That is a shame, a real shame, Tom. for Wave because they've gone out yet again, and they came so close. That means now that FNATIC are through to the main event of Challengers, and Wave falls short by just one game.